G'day guys, welcome back to the Aussie Gooner channel. And yes, you do see some faces here. You see some new faces, see some old faces. To my right, my left, you see none other than KG from the football capital. My man, how you been, KG? How's things, brother? How's things?
Mate, it's been a hectic week of football. Loving having football almost every day of the week, so I'm not complaining, mate, and glad to be on the show.
Mate, happy to have you here, man. We're going to be discussing this fucking shambolic performance from fucking Arsenal against Everton. Now, the guy down low who's been giving me trouble as of late, Chelsea supporter, the man, the myth, Mr. Ladimus Prime, straight from fucking West London, all smiles and laughs. Yeah, he's all good now. How you been, bro? All right?
I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, bro.
Great to make my debut on the channel.
Let's see how.
You could have done it when you were 10 games unbeaten.
Now, you see, this is the thing about the Aussie Gooner. Ain't phased none, bro. I would have had a Tottenham supporter here today. Don't phase me none. I'm bulletproof, man.
I can get a Tottenham fan if you want.
I don't have 3 hours for you to go find one. Yeah, this show needs to happen now. You know what I mean? I can go get a Tottenham fan too, but I'd have to go to Northern fucking Territory, and we ain't got time for that shit. You know, I'm sorry, guys. You know, just time is of the essence. So guys, look, I saw this game, and I know me and KG did the preview. We were actually both kind of positive for Arsenal in this one. I was too. I wasn't expecting the lineup somewhat. I wasn't expecting the change of formation. Now, for me, the biggest flag for me was when Arsenal came out shaped up in a 4-2-3-1, mainly because we've had our asses handed to us in a 4-2-3-1 before, and we haven't got the players there. Now, unfortunately, we did shape up that way. I saw Kieran Tierney, I saw Granit Xhaka, saw Partey, I saw Lacazette. Now, I'm just going to start with the lineup, guys. What did you guys think of the lineup? I mean, whoever wants at it can have at it. I just want to start right fucking there.
You want to have a go first?
Yeah, go for it, KG. Tell me what you think.
You can go. You can go.
Prime's playing the age before beauty card, isn't he? Yes, it is.
Something like, yeah, definitely. I'll tell you that much. Look, what I will say is, I don't know how you see it, Steve. I don't know how you see it, Prime, but I got to give credit to Arteta for dropping Aubameyang. That's a big one where even on the preview show we sort of said, look, why are captains, sort of that species that can't be touched? And I was quite glad to see Laka start the game. You touched on Tierney in a conversation that we did in the preview as well. To see Tierney, I saw the lineup and I'm like, I didn't think of the formation. I'll be honest, Steve, but I thought, Steve might be happy with some of these changes that have been made. Obviously, Martinelli starting, which we both said should be the case based on his previous performances. I was confident from an Arsenal perspective, backing what we had said in the previous show. What I didn't count on was the game Richarlison had for Everton and his link up with obviously the Damari Gray and then Doucouré finding a little bit of form. But if we're just touching on the Arsenal piece right now, I was quite pleased with the players that were put out, not thinking too much about how they were set out on the pitch, with the exception of Xhaka. That was a big surprise for me.
Yeah, fucking me too, mate. I was not expecting Xhaka right after injury to just fucking walk into this squad and start. But look, I was gutted with the formation. I liked the lineup bar Xhaka, and I was scared from the get-go. I don't know about you, Prime. Did you see the formation? Did you see the lineup? What were your thoughts? I don't know if you've seen this game, but yeah, bro.
I did. Did Xhaka just come back from injury?
Yeah, man, early.
Back for a little bit.
Early. He's recovered early from his injury, and he just first game, no friggin' minutes anywhere else. In you go. And this is a game. It's a must-win, really.
Okay, so that was right. I thought he'd been back for about a week or so. I thought he came back. So okay. So that was a bit wild. But then again, I understand it because, at least from my point of view, as a neutral or rival, whichever one you want to call me, I look at Xhaka as your best midfielder, or at least your midfielder that offers you something completely different. Because I look at Partey, Lokonga, Maitland-Niles, maybe even Elneny, roughly doing the same sort of thing. I don't think anyone can necessarily do what Xhaka does. Maybe Elneny to a certain extent, but someone who can actually, play on the ball and dictate the tempo. Yes, Xhaka, you can say, is not that good at doing that, which I get, but he's the only one who offers you something different. And unless you had bought someone in the summer or you buy someone in January who's to a better level,
of course,
I understand why he plays and why he starts. Dropping Aubameyang, yes, again, it's a good thing to do, but I mean, what other option necessarily do you guys have? Balogun was talked about a lot in the summer, and this whole
hasn't
thing
got minutes.
Of playing the young players. Exactly, he played against Brentford. Haven't seen him again. Can you play maybe Martinelli up front? Apparently, he can play there, but he doesn't get much minutes now. Well, he's playing now, but like over the course of the season thus far, he hasn't played much minutes.
No, he hasn't. You're right. You're right.
Going into this game with the form Everton were on, I looked at it as a potential. It wouldn't surprise me if Everton got a result from this game. Like, I'm not going to try and like sugarcoat it or anything or try to be funny. Like,
wounded animal
wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, it's a typical thing that I would just expect Arsenal to do. But I didn't think Everton would win, and I didn't think Everton would be as dominant in terms of chances.
Exactly,
it could have been 3-4.
It should have been 3. It should have been 3. Should have been 3.
Yeah.
And I looked at this formation, I looked at this squad, and I said to myself, when I saw it come out and I saw the 4-2-3-1, I thought I saw Brighton all over again. And I went, okay, here we go, Brighton. Let's play. We're playing Brighton now, and we're not going to be able to get out of our own third because our defenders are going to do their job, but they've got a big gap between them and sort of the midfield, because you've got to take out the two holding midfielders in Xhaka and Partey because they're going to be fucking non-existent. And in this game, they were. I mean, from the get-go, guys, I don't know, from the kickoff, Everton came to play football. Everton put the pressure on Arsenal, where me and KG would have thought it was going to be the other way around. I saw Everton come put the pressure on and Arsenal somewhat lethargic. I mean, the passes from Arsenal, they looked like they were in slow-mo. The movement was slow. The passes were slow. There was no 1-2 passes. It was all lethargic. And I think that really helped Everton just build up into this game. I don't know, KG, like, to be honest, that first half, we started off that first half slow. We continued to be slow. We're on the back foot throughout all of it. Thank God we had one goal disallowed.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be honest, other than your goal, really it was all Everton.
We didn't deserve to be in the lead.
Yeah, it was quite harsh. What I will say is all correct decisions. Like, whilst they're a little bit harsh, whilst the Richarlison offside was close and things like that, there was nothing controversial about it. So to go into the half 1-0 up with an opportunity to regroup, set out the game plan again, I thought Arsenal would have just been like, hey, that was a pretty shit half. Let's make sure we don't put that out again in the second.
Yeah.
But Everton, look, I don't know whether you can put it down to individual performances that, every Everton player outdid their opponent, and collectively they ended up with a better result. But it was just it wasn't the Everton that anyone expected, or I didn't expect, and I think you didn't expect. And at the end of the day, it actually proved like, they're one of those teams that are going to be really annoying, where they'll lose to freaking Watford and they'll take points off some of the top teams, right? And I know that Chelsea's got them coming up, I think, next week or the week after. If they hit the right form, like Richarlison was a man possessed, Demarai Gray got man of the match.
Gray's been in form.
Well-deserved honours. Doucouré, is hitting some form. And these are a couple of guys that have come back from injury that were sort of forgotten because, Everton were in a slump and they had Solomon Rondon, leading the line for them and things like that. And we sort of saw Everton's results dip. But this is what they are capable of on their day. The biggest thing about Everton, though, is that they're so inconsistent that you don't know which Everton's going to rock up. And unfortunately, this time, Arsenal didn't step up.
Didn't show up. We weren't even there.
But the most frustrating thing about it is that you were up 1-0 at half time. So it's not like you were going into the break trailing,
of course,
thinking, oh, what do we have to do to try and get back? It was literally, we're in the lead. How do we not go out there and repeat what we just did for 45 minutes and make sure we now finish off this game, which was the criticism that you had, Steve, of Arsenal. Every time they scored against United, they sat back.
That's right. And they did it again.
They sat back. They scored, and they did it again. And it's like, okay, shit, what's going on here?
And it was pathetic.
I didn't notice that was necessarily a cycle until Steve brought it up. And then I paid attention in this game. Again, going 1-0 up against a team that you could say is a wounded animal, Man United and Everton, and not stamping authority and going for the second, or at least making the next 10, 15 minutes hell for them, that it demoralizes all confidence. And you guys just didn't do that. You sat back as if, you're a relegation team just trying to get away with the 1-0 or trying to get away with maybe a draw from the game, which shouldn't be the case.
It shouldn't have,
especially with the quality that you guys do have that was on the pitch and can maybe bring off the bench. That shouldn't be happening. And I would like to ask, do you think it's a problem, at least this season, whenever you guys have gone up against not bigger teams per se, but better managers? So like Rafa Benitez, you went up against Brighton and Graham Potter. You could maybe arguably say Vieira is a better manager, and you've gone up against the top 4 teams, so United, Chelsea, Liverpool City, and you've gone up against these better managers. Arteta's got outclassed
every time.
That is a problem.
It is a problem. The problem that I have with Arteta is that it's starting to look like he's starting to chop and change again. Now, I remember discussing this with Borussia and Football Capital early on, that I said for him to stay around in a job by November, he needs to show me a style of football and he needs to show me top 10, right? Now, he has shown me his top 10. He did show me a style of football. But now, all of a sudden, we're going back, wait a minute, we can do a 4-2-3-1. We might be able to, put together some attacking football. With anyone that's worth fucking their piss can tell you right now that if you're going to play a 4-2-3-1, you better have a box-to-box midfielder and you better have a decent CDM. In this game, we didn't have a CDM because Thomas Partey was fucking shit. He was shit from the get-go. We had poor Xhaka, and I hate Xhaka, but I'm not going to get on his back. Just come out of injury, trying to put in a shift, right? We go 1-0 up. We undeserved it. I mean, we got the goal, but we didn't deserve to be in the lead. And that's to call a spade a fucking spade. You come out the second half knowing that your 4-2-3-1 is not working. You know your personnel are having a hard time. Ben White is going forward. He's passing the midfield to get the ball up front. Your centre-back has to pass his midfielders. If that is not a red fucking flag, I don't know what is. And you still allow them to come out in the same shape with the same personnel and try and hold on to a lead, where we all know, as KG said, the first warning was there. And there was more, and then there was another disallowed goal, of course. We all saw that. There's another warning. And the team was shambolic from the get-go in the second half. It didn't change. See, and that's what my concern is. And you're right. It's concerning because I think the man tactically, I thought he was going to stick with a 4-4-2 because Uncle Steve told him to and he might have been listening to me, but obviously not. So he decides to go with a 4-2-3-1. And I think if you guys look at this team and you look at the shape and if you look at the formation, you know what I mean. Anyone that saw that game, you could have taken the 2 DMs out of the equation because they weren't fucking there. And then it would have been the centre-backs playing to Odegaard, Martinelli, and of course Saka. And that massive gap, which was forcing centre-backs like Gabriel and even Ben White past the midfielder and into the other end of the play. Concerning, Prime. Concerning, scary. Very scary, buddy. The second half was a joke for us.
All I'm going to say as well, Steve, just to touch on the game as a whole. Like when you look at it, when you preview it and now you review it, the biggest thing that I think everyone and Prime chime in here whenever you get a chance, but the top 3 spots on the ladder are pretty much sealed to Liverpool, City, and Chelsea. right?
We all knew that.
So that fourth spot is so elusive right now. I looked at the ladder as a United fan, going, shit, you know what? We're going to be 2 points further away from Arsenal now because they're going to pick up 3 points.
Yeah,
it's an easy 3 points for them. We have to chase them. We have to chase Tottenham. And so this is just me in my head going, these are the teams we have to chase. And there's no desire there to pick up the 3 points to ensure that you're sitting, in. I don't think they would have hit 4th. I think they would have been 5th. But 1 point off West Ham.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, come on, dude. That's it's gonna. I know you don't win comps in December, right? You just don't win the title in December. No. You don't win your places in December. But these are some key points that are dropped, and I think that's probably where along with United, we've had our struggles. Now we're doing something about it in terms of a new manager. That's not in sight for Arsenal. So what happens next? What happens if we we continue to see Arsenal drop those kind of points when majority of people thought it was a gimme?
So that's the thing. What's going to happen next? Let me tell you guys. KSC don't care about titles. KSC care about cash. Mikel Arteta needs to make top 8. And he will. That's the problem. With this squad, he can make it, right? Arsenal fans don't want to hear that. Arsenal fans want to hear top 4. Top 4 was an overreach, KG. And I said it. We're a top 6 team at best, presently. Are we going to drop points going on? Yeah, I could expect that. Now that I look at the squad and I'm looking at, not the squad, but I'm looking at my manager closer, I'm starting to really see that he really hasn't got a clue. And that he played 4-4-2 because it was a makeshift formation that anyone could play and he got it right. He just guessed it. Prime, I think with what you were saying was, what do we do now with Arteta, and what do we do with him in regards to in-game management, his formations, his tactics, and defending a 1-0 lead? I couldn't tell you. I think that's his idea. His idea is get the lead and hold on for anything we can get. I don't think he sees his. I don't think he has confidence in his team scoring 3 goals in a game. I don't think he sees it. Honestly,
there's nothing wrong with but. The thing is, I'm not necessarily criticizing doing that though, because if you want to get a lead, no matter how early or whatever it is, and just hold on.
Mourinho could do it. Mourinho could do it. This is not Mourinho. You know what I mean? Sorry, I think Prime's had to bump off, but you know what I mean, KG. Mourinho could pull a 1-0 and hold on to a 1-0 and win a game 1-0. But Arteta hasn't got the personnel and he hasn't got the experience to get a team to hold off on a 1-0 from the 40th minute to the 90th, 45th to the 90th. That's 45 minutes of continuous defense with a 4-2-3-1 formation. That's not going to work. You need 2 banks of 4 to do that.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to get to. That there's nothing wrong with sitting and trying to defend the lead because like you've mentioned, you can name Mourinho and I can name Sam Allardyce, different ends of the footballing elite spectrum.
Yep.
And they've both been able to do that. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing it, but it's just not being drilled into them properly. And again, that comes down to tactics and man management, because you've got I'm not going to make a joke, but you've built a defense now that is improved, and you guys should be able to hold on to leads, and especially since it's Everton. It's not like you had to play Man City and hold on to a 1-0.
No, yeah, exactly. It should be doable.
It is Everton. You should be able to do it. Yeah.
Should be doable. But would you guys agree? Okay, look, we saw this game. Okay, we all saw this game. Everton have come out clear-cut winners. Okay, and if anything, we all can agree that it should have been 3-1, right? I can't disagree with any VAR call because they're all spot on. But I look at some of my players real quick. Apart from the formation, I look at some of my players. Now, I can't butcher too many of my players, but I can butcher some of them. Now, I don't know what you guys think of Thomas Partey right now. I'm just going to go for number 1. What did you guys think of fucking Partey? Part-time Partey, as I like to call him now, in this game? Because he was at fault for so fucking much. Prime, I want you to have this one because I know you want it. You're looking like you're drooling right now. You look at you, you're foaming at the mouth. I know you want it. I'm gonna let you have it, even though I can go.
I don't like that Arsenal fans, and even I guess rivals to an extent as well, always want to speak about Xhaka. Whenever Arsenal have a bad game or
No, I'm
a
not
bad
talking about him
midfield
now.
performance,
No way I'm talking about Xhaka in this
I
one.
know, and not you. And you're one of the ones who are actually being fair and kind to him, even though you don't like Xhaka.
I hate him, but I've got to be called a
wants to
spade.
Xhaka.
No, not his fault.
Exactly, you're honest. Everyone wants to speak about Xhaka. No one wants to speak about Partey today because even though Xhaka was come up from injury, shouldn't have been playing, which is fair. But where was this? How much did you spend on 45 mil or something? Midfielder, meant to be top end. You're not playing Man City. 60 mil, sorry. You're not playing Man City. You're not playing Chelsea. You're not playing Liverpool, where, fair enough, he's going to get outclassed. You're playing Everton. He should be able to handle, he was in midfield, Decore.
Yeah.
He should be able to handle that. And again, it's another one of these games where he just looks off it in the Prem. He doesn't look like he's adapted. Yeah, partly you could also say it is a manager issue, because if you bring in a better manager, you'd like to think players' performances will improve because better system and tactics and everything.
Yeah.
That is fine. But it's Everton. It's a team that are in poor form. It should be easy for him to play up against, and he hasn't. So I don't know what it is. Is it another one of these things where you bring in a player, he has a few good performances, and they just tend to plateau? Because I don't know what it is. It tends to happen a lot with Arsenal signings. A player comes in, they have a good year maybe, or a good 6 months, and when they start to perform badly, Arsenal fans can use this first 6 months to escape to, like, I guess, and particularly with players that they love, can use that to cut them some slack for the first year or two until eventually they have to admit this guy's just not what we thought he was. Which, again, I'm not even necessarily going to blame Partey for that. It's the fans. And again, it's not just Arsenal fans that do this, by the way. Chelsea fans do it, United fans, we all do it.
Of course.
But it's like,
we all do it.
It's not then fair on the player when then everybody immediately will, or eventually will, switch on him and start hurling abuse. And I don't like when players get, abused and stuff like that. So
we don't, abuse on players.
Too much, to be fair, but it's just, maybe
I think it's a fair assessment, though, Brian. I think it's a fair assessment. And teams do it all the time. For God's sake, United did it with Ollie, and he was a manager.
Yeah,
he was like, "Oh, it's Ollie, it's Ollie," and then it's like, "Oh shit, you know what? It's Ollie." It was too late. But yeah, look, I think there was a couple of moments, well, one in particular, like literally last kick of the game, that I think was so not just important for the result. Obviously, Aubameyang misses the target, so could have made it 2-2. But I think it's a little bit more than that. Had he had buried that goal to pick up a point in the last minute of the game, I think would have just changed everything for him for the remainder of this season, or at least for a period of time where he would have picked up some sort of confidence. That miss, I think, has just dug him even deeper.
Oh, yeah.
And to be fair, a prime Aubameyang puts it in the back of the net 9 out of 10 times.
All day.
Prime Aubameyang.
All day. But you know what? In this game, like I said, Aubameyang didn't deserve to start this game. Lacazette was the best choice. Lacazette was better in a 4-4-2, but Aubameyang didn't deserve to play in this game. And it showed with that last chance, with a perfect pass from Nketiah. Anyway. With that ball that was played to him, it was clear cut. It was on his left side. He should have finished it, and he puts it wide. He had no one really on him, and he puts it wide. It was pathetic. I mean, Nketiah could have also scored. I don't know how he didn't score the header. I don't know if you guys saw that.
The one that hit the post.
Like, seriously, against the law of physics, I don't know what the hell that was, but friggin' it hits the post, hits everyone, and then manages to get out. It's like fucking he was playing pinball, and he manages to.
That's what happens when you're out of form. That's what happens when you're out of form, when you're not playing regularly or you're not playing well. Your radar is so off. And Nketiah, you said it. You don't even know why he's playing. Right?
No idea.
A new contract. No. There's Pepe who's there, who's able to play. Aubameyang rightfully dropped, right? And I applaud Arteta for doing it, but you could see that when he needed them to fire, their lack of, I guess, form or lack of game time cost Arsenal a perfect opportunity to either pick up a point or even run away with a win. If had Gray not put in a performance,
could have been two. It could have turned to 2-1 with Nketiah.
Yeah, 100%.
It could have turned, and then it would have been them coming back, and the game could have changed here. But Nketiah, of course, stuffed it. And this is where I fall back on, we had problems with Partey. Yeah, Aubameyang misses a sitter. Yeah, Nketiah misses a sitter. But I look at the whole squad at the moment, and I think they're all dejected, mainly because I don't know if they're coming or going. I think Arsenal at the moment, they're like a friggin' a ship that's floating around but never comes to port. Doesn't know where it's going. And that's how it looked like in this game. Seriously. Looked fucking pathetic. And at the moment, as an Arsenal fan, I can't tell you if we're going to play 4-4-2 again. I don't know. I can't tell you what formation we're going to play. I can't tell you any of that. I can tell you this as personally, when I have problems with my defenders having to go past the midfield and into the final third to distribute the ball, I have problems doing that. But in this game, I think Arteta would be the biggest blame here. I have to drop on my manager. I don't know about you guys, what you guys think of that. I think I have to drop most of the blame of this game, apart from Partey and a few other players, on my manager for his formation pick, because it was pathetic. I mean, the only good thing to come out of this is Tierney came on the pitch, got himself an assist. But apart from that, I think all my players, apart from Tierney, Tomiyasu, that'd be it. Tierney and Tomiyasu would be the only ones that could hold their heads up kind of high. The rest of them can put their heads down, but Arteta needs to get the fuck out of this one and put his hand up and say, sorry guys, my bad. Doesn't mean he's gone, it just means my bad, because I think that was all him. I blame him for this game.
It's interesting that you say that. I don't know how much of other like Arsenal fans channels or whatever that you see in terms of their reviews or thoughts.
I barely look at
games and whatever.
Barely look at any of them really. I look at the guys at Armory TV. I work with those guys, and to be perfectly honest, I watch Warren's Team Talk, which if anyone's watching this is good. Guys, look at Warren's Team Talk, but I don't watch anyone else because and Mo Hater. And to be perfectly honest, I don't do the rest, because the rest of it, I look at a game and think to myself, if I can tell you from the get-go, before a ball's being kicked, we're fucked. I don't blame the player. I'm not worried about the fucking personnel. I'm looking at the formation and we're fucked, and it ends up being that way. That's when I can blame the manager.
Yeah. No, that's fair. But I do, and it's like I just want to know what the opinions would have been if, like you said, if Aubameyang in the final stages, that chance, if he had scored that and you get you get the draw from it,
I'd still be doing that. I'd still be doing that.
No, and again, I know you would. I'm talking about like the Arsenal fans watching this and stuff. What would your thoughts have been? Because against Crystal Palace, the game should have ended 2-1. You nick it in the final stages, and it ends up being a draw. And then all of a sudden, it's this brilliant fight that we had to stay in the game and nick it in the final stages and stuff. And it's now flipped into a good performance.
Well,
would the same thing have been done if you guys had nicked it in the final stages like that? And
a lot of fans might have jumped on that bandwagon and said that would have been great. But I saw a game. Did anyone remember my review with Watford? And I said, what the fuck? No one should be happy about that performance. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared because of the game against Watford. We won that game. And I was upset. This game, if we had drawn this game, if Aubameyang had got it, I would have said, at least we got a point. But I still would have been coming down. And I look, your opinions, guys. Your opinions on this manager and his tactics in this game. KG, the tactics in this game. You tell me.
Yeah, look. So two things. Just to finish the last point. You shouldn't be happy about picking up a draw.
No, not against any team.
But what would have happened was you should have been happy that Aubameyang got off the mark. That's what would have or could have happened had he put the ball in the back of the net. So no, not settling for the point, but your captain, your club captain, your striker is finally off the mark. It didn't happen. Both didn't happen. So put that aside. Performance-wise, man, look, it was disappointing because there was nothing to suggest Everton should have been in this game. Yeah, like I understand that. Looking at their lineup with Richarlison and a few others coming back from injury, yeah, but this is Arsenal Football Club. Like I've been saying it for a number of weeks now, Steve, that I thought you guys were on the right trajectory. A couple of slight hiccups. Hiccup against United, but that game could have been anything, with Carrick interim manager. The players obviously knew that he was about to sign off. They dug deep. They got a result. Still not convincing for either team. I thought we spoke about it the other day. The best of the two worst teams probably won. It wasn't convincing for either team. And I still thought Arsenal had it in them. The only teams I think Arsenal can't compete with right now, or based on their performances more recently, are Chelsea, City, and Liverpool. Everybody else, I would be expecting either a win, especially at home, or at least picking up a point away from home. And anyone in the bottom half should be picking up 3 points. That's how I view Arsenal. Like if I'm being realistic, what you did to Tottenham, that was for me, it wasn't a fluke. I think Tottenham got things wrong, but I don't think it was a fluke from Arsenal. So really, performance shocking. If you put it down to the amount of chances Everton were given, 2 disallowed goals, Richarlison running a mark for 90 minutes, Demarai Gray having the game of his life, Doucouré finding a bit of form, really not troubling the back four for Everton, who aren't crash hot.
No, they aren't. You're right.
It's a D performance if you're going to rate it.
And that's honestly exactly how I feel about my manager right now, my players, all but those 2 that I've fucking mentioned. I don't know about you, Prime. I know it's like, can you blame the manager for everything? But I reckon not for everything. Not for everything. Every player has their duty. They've getting their paycheck. They got to perform. They got to get in that. They got to play their position to the best of their ability. But when we've been exposed numerous times in a 4-2-3-1 as a manager, it doesn't matter what club you're playing against, as a manager, why fuck with something that was working is my problem. 4-4-2 was working to an extent, and to change that against Everton, I don't know if he was not giving Everton the respect that they deserved. I don't know if it was that, or if he was just trying to say, hey, look, I can change things up and show you guys my inner Pep Guardiola. But it was absolutely pathetic. Seriously, it was pathetic. I honestly, it could have been worse. And from an Arsenal perspective, watching that game, anyone that watched that, any Arsenal fan saw that game from the kickoff, and the first 10 minutes said, that's it, we're done. And that's the problem I have with Arsenal right now. I don't know if you see that, Prime, that if Arsenal start getting pressed on early, hard, that the game is pretty much said and done. And that's what I'm noticing now, that we can't win the physical battles. We should be more physical, our defenders are, but the rest of the team are soft as shit. And as soon as any team gets physical with any other part of the team, except for Xhaka, of course, we fall apart. I don't know, did you United did that, yeah?
Yeah, but that's been your problem for years, hasn't it? Even as far as final stages with Wenger, it's always been the thing of Arsenal, you play pretty, but if we stick it on you, you'll fall away and we'll beat you. But now it's a thing of you don't even play pretty anymore.
No, that's
still a thing of we stick it on you because you're meant to now have the more physical players. You're meant to be up for the fight. But if we still stick it on you, you'll fade away. But I disagree with what KG said in terms of what we expect from Arsenal. I think what we've seen thus far in the opening 3 games, and especially through your 10-game unbeaten run, that yes, you will beat the lesser side. So you played Norwich, and I can't remember the rest. But
Norwich,
when you
Burnley.
play teams that are Norwich, Burnley, yeah, so the lesser sides. But when you play teams that are in and around your level, so Crystal Palace, Brighton, Everton, and I'm not saying their teams is as good as you guys. You guys are better in terms of personnel, but when their manager's better than you and their system and how they're set up is better, so to me that balances things. You guys, I don't necessarily expect you guys to win because, and how do I explain this? I had the same thing under Lampard that like last summer when we had all the signings and people Chelsea fans were cast saying title race. I didn't expect that because I knew, as much as we will beat the lesser sides, if we come up against Everton with Carlo Ancelotti, come up against Leeds with Bielsa, we come up against West Ham, Man United, Spurs, etc., Arsenal, come up against teams with players that are a bit not as good as maybe to a lesser level, come up against managers that are far better than us or roughly on the same level. It will cancel us out, and I don't expect us to win at all because he doesn't have the tactics or the experience to get through games like that. And the same thing now is happening with Arteta. It's just taking a bit longer for things to get figured out.
I see that point as well. I guess for me, especially just if I focus just on this game, right? Everton, Arsenal 1-0 up, 10 or 12 minutes to go. Warning shots have been fired with 2 disallowed goals.
Flares, bro. Flares are out, bro.
Okay. So for me, regardless of the guy standing on the sideline, from a let's say if you put manager here and you put players here, on the pitch it's happening. There's no timeouts. This is not NFL, right? For you to go, hold on. Yes, he can make substitutions to change things, but warning shots have been fired. You as players just have to go, hey, we've got to grit it out for the next 10 minutes. Like if the gaffer's not going to do anything, which you can point the finger at him and say, hey, you didn't do enough, and that you can do that after the game, right? But during the game, during the heat of battle, you've got to keep them out. That's as simple as it gets. A little bit unlucky as well. Why Arsenal letting Demarai Gray shoot from outside the box on both occasions? One comes off the crossbar, and then Richarlison wins the scraps. He should never win those. He should never win it that comfortably, I should say. And then the second one, like you just had him shoot a goal, hits the crossbar, you let him shoot again. Like as there's nothing Mikel Arteta can do in that instant to go, hey, you should do X, Y, Z right now. Right, that's got to be a player instinct, and I would be on everyone's side here if I hadn't had Borchard drill it in my head for the last 6 to 12 months around the players' responsibility, because we had it so much at United. There's only so much the manager could do, and the players are also responsible. And I think this is partly that. I don't disagree with what Prime said. I mean, my expectations are a little bit different. But had the players gritted it out, it's a 1-0 win, and we're not having this conversation. And the expected result on the back of it. Which is what I was saying. And maybe at 1-0, less pressure on Aubameyang to bury that shot, right? And all of a sudden, there's no pressure, and he slots it. Like, it's just such a mental thing as much as it is physical. It just didn't pan out for Arsenal. It just didn't.
Look,
but it's not like they're not trying, though. Like, it's not as if they
are trying. They are trying.
Yeah, they are. It's not. I'm not saying they're playing well or anything. No. You're not. But it's not like they've down tools and like.
No, they haven't down tools. No, they haven't down tools. But KG on that, right? You remember the warning shots you were talking about, and Prime, feel me on this, right? You know the warning. You know when we came in the first half, right? You're the manager, not me. Because if I'm the manager, I'm fucking punching people. So you're the manager, no one's hurt, right? No one's hurt, except for Jack. Jack would be all right. He'd be helping me, he'd be holding them for me, so it'd be good, it's laying in. Anyway, so you're the manager. You see right now that they are having their way, right? They're getting through the midfield like a pub toilet door. That's my thing. As a manager, do you think to yourself, since it's so easy for these guys to get through us, I can tell fucking Xhaka and Partey to tell them, man mark, whatever. Or do I just say, guys, we're ditching the 4-2-3-1. Guys, we're going back to a 4-4-2, right? Line up in 2 banks of 4, because we all know when you line up in 2 banks of 4, how much harder is it to break down 2 banks of 4, right? And let's try and hold on to a 1-0, because that's what we're apparently trying to do. Because if you're going to play a 4-2-3-1, right, the way I see it, is it allows for so much more going forward, right? A lot going forward. You could have 5 players going forward at a time, right? but it also exposes you on the counter when you come back because those same players have to come back. So what I'm saying to you, KG, as the manager, if you're trying to hold on to a 1-0, does it make sense to go back to a 4-4-2 at half-time and come out the half as a 4-4-2?
There's a million things you can do as a manager, right? It's all again back to a mental thing, a psyche thing, as to whether or not you chase a second one or you defend the one that you've got, because Everton were the more aggressive team or assertive team in this match. So you probably could have said, can I weather it out for 45 minutes? If I do, I have to be really keeping an eye on how the game continues to flow. And what we don't know is maybe for 35 minutes up until the 80th minute mark, he felt like, oh, I've pulled it off here.
Wow.
Right? And it's just all
He'd be the only one. Right? He'd be the only one.
But I mean, it was 1-0, right? It was 1-0.
Fucking barely.
And you and I have said this on multiple podcasts now. The longer the result stays in your favor, the longer the result stays in favor of one team, it just makes things that little bit harder. But and credit to Everton because they did what they needed to do to win the match. I'm with you. I'm not trying to take the blame away from Arteta. I think he managed the game poorly. But what I will say is that there's still that element. And look, I'm a manager as well, and I manage at lower levels. But I know that sometimes it's up to the guys that are on the pitch to get the result. They just have to dig in, right? And again, they didn't down tool. It's not a down tooling thing. It's just a matter of look, how much more clear was it that they were coming at you and that you got to stop these shots from outside the box. Like there was too many warnings. Like if I saw that in a Sunday league game, the next thing I'd be doing is I'd be grabbing one of my midfielders that's sitting on the bench. I'll be like, come here. See that bloke over there? Doesn't touch the ball. Every time he gets the ball, niggle, hit, tap, whatever. Just keep getting in his head where he's not going to get a clear shot away, right? So you eliminate that. Obviously, easier said than done in the Premier League.
Of course.
But same sort of concept. You have to make some sort of change. We have to have some sort of reaction to stop the inevitable, which didn't happen.
No,
from
unfortunately.
Arteta perspective. Anyway.
No, from the Arteta perspective, it didn't. And that's where I'm worried. The players, look, they have to take blame here. Okay, everyone's going to put... I know a lot of people blaming Lacazette, or what did Lacazette bring to it? What service did Lacazette get? Fucking none. And there's a lot of finger pointing here. On the attacking players especially, but the way I see it is when our midfield is the way it was, it's very hard to get out from the back line and transition into an attack, especially when you have no midfield. Your CDMs are overwhelmed. And Arteta, I think, needs to look at this going into the next game, because if he lines up in a 4-2-3-1 again, I believe we've got players, but I don't think we have the personnel for a 4-2-3-1. Now, KG, you've mentioned that you're coaching on a lower level, but if you look at the Arsenal squad and you look at the Premier League, and Prime, you can see it too. You tell me what you think. In a 4-2-3-1 formation with no ESR, and even with ESR, it doesn't matter. Do Arsenal have the fucking personnel? Now, remember, I believe you need to have a box to box, and I'm pretty sure if you don't have a box to box, a 4-2-3-1 is pointless because you're never going to get out of your own half. But you tell me, KG, do we have the personnel to play 4-2-3-1 in the Premier League?
Look, I don't think so, and that just comes from...
Can I have Donny van der Beek for Man United on loan, and I'll give you $50?
I'll pay you 50. No, I'm just kidding.
Done. Give me that 50. I'll fucking take him now.
You know what? I'll give you the 50 just so you can get some game time, so you can come back in some sort of form.
Okay. Well, can we do it for the rest of the season though? The whole season.
Let's do it.
Done.
I'm just a fan of not having the one thing I always. This is just me, right? And this is my personal preference. Yeah. It's not so much a tactical thing, but I just don't like the one striker up front. I just never liked it. I've always grown up watching the teams of, especially Manchester United, always playing two strikers. Yeah. I know the game evolves. I understand that, but there's something about attacking football, and I just think the moment you have one striker, and I know, yes, you've got your left and right, and you make a front three, I just think it makes the job a lot easier for the opposition defense. So, if you're talking about Lacazette and Aubameyang, or even Aubameyang Martinelli, or even Lacazette Martinelli, however you want to mix that combination up, I think that's a lot better than what you guys are currently doing now, right? So to answer your question, short answer, no. I don't think a 4-2-3-1 works.
Prime, what do you reckon? 4-2-3-1, Arsenal with the squad that we've got. Every single fucking player. Can it happen?
I think you have the problem that you've had for years. You don't have a DM. You've got Xhaka.
Apparently we bought one.
I see.
Apparently we bought one.
But Partey's not a DM, or at least in the sense of
he's actually supposed to be. I hate to say it, he's supposed to be.
He is. He's supposed to be, but apparently Werner's supposed to be a goal scorer. So
allegedly, yeah,
it's not the same thing. But I don't. To me, I think Xhaka is a deep lying playmaker. So kind of like what I guess Jorginho is. They're not, the big physical DMs going to do the dirty work. They're not a Vieira. They're not a Keane. Partey, same thing. He is box to box. He's not a DM. If Partey was paired with Fabinho at Liverpool or Fernandinho at Man City, you would see a better Partey because he would be allowed to do what he actually does. So be box to box and I guess drive with the ball. Again, same thing. Xhaka, if he was paired with an actual DM, you would see a better Xhaka because he'd be allowed to do what he does, which is play on the ball. Because with Switzerland, Xhaka is much better because I know international football is a different tempo.
Yeah, but Xhaka is exposed as in Arsenal because of this position.
Exactly.
But the thing is, Partey is supposed to be a DM. That's the problem. He was more defensive. He was a defensive-minded midfielder when he was at Atletico.
But Atletico playing in a defensive system. I think
that's a troop. That's a troop. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a very good point. With Atletico, when I've seen his highlights with Atletico, don't get me wrong, he was going forward, but he was lying back, man. Now I don't know if that's Simeone's style of football, and that is Simeone. He loves to sit back. But when we brought this guy in, it was to play a defensive role and to play the CDM role. Now the problem I have, he's not. And even you're saying a box to box. As a box to box, he's as effective as Aaron Ramsey, if that. His football is he passes sideways more than he does any other way. He doesn't pass forward. Seriously, he's. I hate to say it, but Partey at the moment, he's either gonna play in a line of 4 and not in a 4-2-3-1 because it's the only way he can actually be effective somewhat. I think our lineup at the moment, the way it's looking, if we don't play 4-4-2 basic football, guys, Arsenal haven't got a chance at shit. We can't play 4-3-3 and we couldn't play 4-2-3-1. That's my opinion. I don't think we have the personnel. I like Sambi Lokonga, but I don't like Sambi Lokonga in a 4-2-3-1. I like him in a 4-4-2. I like Xhaka in a 4-4-2. I don't like Xhaka. But the reason why I keep going back to 4-4-2 and KG feel me on this is because it's a fucking formation that any team can play with whatever personnel. It's safe. And we have to be safe, unfortunately, because I don't have the personnel Man United or Chelsea have.
Yeah, I don't even think it's just about being safe. I just think it's about, playing something that works for the personnel. That's it. Like it doesn't have to be safe. Yes, I understand formation is safe, but if you've got the personnel and you can make it work in your favor, then do it. Right? That's where, different formations suit different teams. Not to continue look at what Chelsea did for just as an example. With Tuchel coming in.
Yeah, well.
He used his squad. He used it well. He rotates it well. Yes, I know they got a little bit, a few injuries now, but if you look at the formation, it works for them. And the proven point to that is look at how many goal scorers they've had this year, right? But that works for them, and they don't need to play safe or they don't need to play a 4-4-2. So yeah, if 4-4-2 works for Arsenal because that's the best way to get the most out of the players that you have, then do it, right? But you and I, the three of us all know we're not the gaffers here, right?
No,
it's just an opinion. No. And at the end of the day, I still firmly believe Arsenal should be a team that is going to be highly competitive and push a majority of teams to results or to results that are in Arsenal's favour. I don't think it's all doom and gloom, but definitely a disappointment. I think a disappointment overall, just to summarize.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I agree with you, KG. I agree with you. I expected 3 points here. I expected a 1-0 with a shitty formation. I didn't expect this, or a shitty squad selection. But it's an eye-opener. I hope that Mikel Arteta can pull his head in and just go back to basics. These players really need to friggin' pick one up. They really do. They need to get back into games with a bit more energy. I think commitment is one of the things. Energy is another. The players are out there on the pitch, but the energy and commitment I'm not seeing from the get-go. That's up to the players. That's one thing the manager can't really do much about. When the game starts off, we got to start the game hard and fast, much like we did against Man United and the others. We just didn't do it against Everton. We've got Southampton next. I don't know. I'm a bit worried now. KG's doing that.
I wouldn't be.
I'm worried about Arteta and what he's going to do. I reckon he's going to... You know what's next? We'll play a 4-3-3 next. Never done it before. Why not? Give it a whirl. Fuck, what's the worst that can happen? We lose? Fucking hell.
KG, why shouldn't they be worried?
I was more worried about Southampton and Everton. And that's an honest opinion. Do you feel me on that, Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't have a bias towards...
How much money did you lose on them?
Or any? No, I was smart enough this week to keep my money in my pocket. I don't know. I see Arsenal a little bit differently. Maybe I'm a little bit more pessimistic or optimistic or any istic you want me to be. But like that's the way I feel about Arsenal right now. Is I think if I was to compare them with my club and look, I'm not saying Arteta's a genius, nothing like that. I just think they've progressed a lot quicker than what we did in the same amount of time that we had Ollie.
That's a good point.
I know that Ollie had his 20-odd, in a row, whatever. But if you look at the players he had compared to what Arteta has,
yes,
I think he's still done. I think he's still doing something here. So that's where I'm probably giving them a little bit more credit. And Southampton. They're another one of those teams that can sneak a result on any given day, and they've done it to United in the past.
That's what I'm worried about.
I just don't think it's a dip in form. That's what I put it down to. I think there's still class enough for Arsenal to get the result, and I don't worry.
How have they progressed?
Well, look. The way Arsenal had. Look, he's got a point. Arsenal have progressed. Look, when I see him play a 4-4-2, I've said it before. Defensively, we're solid. Yeah. Okay. In a 4-4-2 formation, we're a very hard team to break down if everyone holds their position and does their part. Very hard. That's why the 1-0, I can sit there and say, okay, in a 4-4-2 is doable. They have progressed with playing out from the back. The defensive line is a lot more solid. Okay. And with 156 million spent and 6 players bought, I am going to give Arteta a little bit of credit. It's not a lot of money for a lot of players bought and some gems. We have progressed ever so slightly. Okay, we have gotten better defensively, which has always been an issue for Arsenal. The reason why we are getting goals scored against us isn't because the defensive personnel is shit, no, or the goalkeeper is shit, no. It's because we decided to grab our players and put them in a formation that doesn't suit the players that we have. And that's why I'm on Arteta's back, not because of the signings that he's made some good ones. In a 4-4-2, where we go line up 2 banks of 4, maybe attacking-wise, KG, we're not that effective, and I'm with you, we're not. But in a 4-4-2, coming at us, it's a lot harder to break through the line. So where KG's coming saying they have improved, yes, we have, because we can be a solid team and they just worry about how we move forward from there. So it's like our midfield is sort of sound. Defense is very good. We got a problem going forward. In a 4-2-3-1, we got a problem all across the park. So if you look at us in 4-4-2.
Talking about in terms of, but that's what I'm talking about in terms of, but that's why it's not the personnel, but it's, at the end of the day, you can have the best players in the world, like PSG, but if the manager is not good enough, and that sort of doesn't matter what players you have, per se. And that's what I mean of Arteta hasn't improved, so I don't see Arsenal being as they've improved. Because like I said, you play teams that have players not as good, but their system is better and they've got a better manager, like Palace, Brighton, Everton, etc. I don't expect you to win. That's why going into the Southampton game, Hasenhuttl is a better manager. They've got a better system, and their forward line, whether it be Armstrong or Che Adams, Amanda Broja, their forward line is on fire in terms of I think they can get at your defense, especially again if you set up wrong.
If we set up wrong, yes. If we play a 4-4-2, no. I'm telling you now, if we play a 4-4-2, guys, we play a solid 4-4-2, most teams are going to have a hard time. Most teams. But unfortunately, I don't know what's going to happen here. I've got to give Arteta credit for a few things in his signings and again for the lack of investment, because I think we can all agree that 150 million for Arsenal was nowhere near enough money. If anything, it would have been at least 250 to 280 all day for that team to be half decent. But that's neither here or there with KSC. That's never going to fucking happen. And I do believe that even in the transfer window, we're going to do fuck all. Okay? I know it sounds horrible, but that's my opinion. I don't think anything's going to happen. It's not Man United. It's not Chelsea. These guys go in there and buy players. We're going to sit back and just say whatever. I hate to say that. But look, the Everton game was shocking. To round it up, the formation was abysmal. Player performances, I think Tierney was great to see on the pitch. He got himself an assist. Well done. It's great to see him back, and I hope to see him in the next one, hopefully. And apart from Tierney and Taki, the other guys need to really look themselves in the mirror and figure out if they're playing for Arsenal Football Club or Marconi, because they really need to step up in the next game. You know what I mean? Now, Prime's probably sitting there going, what's Marconi? No, it's an Aussie joke. It's all good. Let's cross fingers. They're going to be stallions, mate. Stallions. But guys, I know it's been a bit of a dismal one for Arsenal, but I had to get the guys on to help me do it because I really couldn't do it on my own. Honestly, I would have just been ranting and raving, and luckily they pulled me back in because I did it a little bit. Hopefully we win this against Southampton. I don't know. I'll do my preview soon. Prime, thank you for joining. Thank you for making a debut. I know you're all happy with your Chelsea shit, but hopefully you lose. For all the gooners out there, pray that Chelsea lose their next game. Yeah, they'll lose. Who knows? But anyway, they're in great form.
We just lost against West Ham.
Yeah, I need you to lose again and again and again.
Chelsea.
But you know what? But look, you lost against West Ham, and they fucking played football.
Chelsea 4-0 against Leeds.
They played some fucking football, mate. And look, Prime. Look, I know you're going to be torn between these two teams, Leeds and Chelsea. I don't know. I don't know where your loyalties lie anymore. Okay, I don't know. Yeah. But you can go in there wearing just a white shirt, and you put your Leeds jersey on one side, you put your Chelsea jersey on the other side, and say, "I'm a winner either way." Because I'm a Chelsea fan. Okay,
leave him alone.
You can do that.
He's bleeding blue now.
Prime, thank you for coming on, bro. Thank you for coming on, bro. I really appreciate this. I hope to have you on again, hopefully to do a review where I'm sort of happy and not down and not fucking shitty. KG, the man, the myth, the football capital, my man. Thank you for coming on again and dealing with my bullshit.
Anytime.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, bro. Prime, where can everyone find you, Prime? Tell me where they can find you. Apart from in a Chelsea stand, fucking jumping around in a fucking blue fucking Smurf. Anyway, where can they find you?
Two Champions Leagues. Anyway, you can find me on. you can find me on the.
There's one.
Terrace.
Sorry, kick on.
That stands for two Champions Leagues.
It stands for in Australia that stands for two fuck yous, but keep going. It's all right.
In London that means two Champions Leagues. But anyway.
Okay.
Well, you know. What am I trying to say? Yeah, you can catch me on the Football Terrace. You can catch me on the First XI. 2 days ago, I did a review of the weekend's games on the Football Capital with Boche, KG, and Aussie Gooner. You guys should check that out. I'm assuming you guys already have it anyways, but if you haven't, check it out. It was great. It was funny. Thank you for having me on. Sorry for the delay and stuff from my end. Section problems.
I got the bloopers, man. They're gold.
You guys probably won't even see that, so it doesn't even matter. Is it coming? Is it going to come out, or are they going to see it?
At the end of the year, guys, there will be the Aussie Gooner bloopers, and I've got a shitload that I'm going to upload. This is a big old Aussie Gunner bloopers. A lot of shit that I fucked up on. This is fucking great. It's gold. I'm telling you, everyone's going to have a great, happy Christmas watching me fuck up. And you're going to be on there. KG, where are you at, bro? Where are you at?
I've made it, people.
Steve, you can catch me on the Football Capital, obviously doing the EPL wrap-up and the A-League wrap-up, and also you can catch me on RBTV for all the Western Sydney Wanderers fans that are out there. And thanks for having me back on board on the Aussie Gooner twice in 1 week, so looking forward to many more to come.
Anytime you're ready. And guys, look, it's a bad day for Arsenal, but hold your head up high. From the Aussie Gooner to all the Aussies out there and everyone out there in England who's having a laugh at this, it's Uru, guys. Uru.